In this video, I'll go through 5 ways I get these iPhones for free. I've been seeing a lot of these videos with the free house, the free Tesla, living for free in your own triplex. These are all eye-catching thumbnails. It's clickbaity, but it works. I mean, you did click in to watch this video, right? The word free has many levels. After watching a few of these videos, the subject matter is technically free, but there are certain conditions that needs to be met. In the Tesla example, Graham had to max out his federal tax credits, the EV rebates, and numerous tax write-offs from his business. On top of that, he has to subsidize the rest with his YouTube ad revenue. So is it actually free? Heck no. In computing science, there's something called the if-then conditional statements. It goes something like this. If A happens, then we get B. So all the examples I talked about, including my free iPhone, are conditionally free, where we have to do A in order to get B for free. I think the only thing that's absolutely free in life are the smiles at McDonald's. If you're wondering what this means, it translates to smile. Smiles are always free at McDonald's.
Smile.
Simaru. Simaru. Welcome back, mindful investors. I'm just here to share some ideas that may save or make you some iPhones. Back in September, I anticipated that I wanted to upgrade my iPhone 8 to the new iPhone 12 Pro. To me, this is a luxury item, so I needed to justify and possibly subsidize for all of this cost. Drop a like in the video if you're planning to get the iPhone 12 or already gotten it. Here in Canada, the phone itself is about $1,700, and all the accessories you see here are another $200. So I need to find a way to cover this cost. And that's when I turned to the stock market. In early September, the Apple share prices peaked at around $135. Then it tanked 20% down to $105 in mid-September. During all this time, I was patiently waiting for the recovery. On the way down, I implemented the first 2 strategies. Number 1 is to buy in little chunks, where I dollar cost averaged down and I had an average price of about $109 before the run-up of the announcement date, where the stock price peaked at $125. I've sold puts that's so far away that I was willing to buy like 500 shares of them if it ever happened. So on the way down from $135 to $105, if it continued in that trajectory, I would have been happy to buy the stock at $75. Easy. And that's why I sold all these put options to collect the premiums. So that's the strategy number 2. The strategy is that I don't believe things are collapsing, and even if they are, I'm ready to buy at that discounted price. And on the way back up before the iPhone 12 announcement event, these first 2 strategies are already capitalizing because they broke the downward trend and they slowly taper back up. The day before the event, Apple's share price peaked at around $125. That's when I sold some call options, saying that if the stock price does rise from $105 to $150 within a 3-month time frame, I was more than happy to sell at that price point and capitalize on that 30% gain. But if it doesn't, I gladly collect the premiums there as well, as you see in this photo here. So the first 3 strategies are already capitalizing. I mean, I didn't max out on the profits. I didn't sell at $125 because I know I can't time it. I'm just finding ways to consistently win. It's not that every bet would be maximized profits, but if I just keep taking all these stabs, then I collect a whole lot of premiums. To me, it's never about timing the bottom or timing the top. Like through these waves, there's so many other moves I can make. The 4th way are from the stock dividends. Apple doesn't pay out much dividends, I believe it's at 0.71%, but I do have Apple exposure in all my portfolios, including the growth, the all-weather, the speculative, and my dividends as well. In my growth portfolio, I own the shares right out, but in the other 3 portfolios, it's all in the index funds. Let's look at the VTI, Vanguard Total Index. They have an exposure of 5.36% in Apple, and in total from all my accounts, I might have about 100K in it. So let's say 100K times 5.26% times 0.71% for Apple dividends. So that's a whopping $37. It's good enough to pay for this charger, but every little bit helps, right? Now onto the next method. It has nothing to do with the stock market. Number 5. Geographic Arbitrage. What this means is that we take advantage of different pricing in various countries. Back 10 years ago, Apple didn't even launch the iPhone in China, but there was a huge demand there. And every one of the mainlanders who wanted an iPhone had to cross the border to Hong Kong to get one. And because of the supply and demand discrepancy, there is a huge premium to be had. This first video here is people lining up overnight and maybe a week before to line up for these iPhones. We see a whole bunch of people on this bridge, and where this leads to is the Apple store at the end of the queue. We see the cops and G-Force attending the lines, and they're just letting in like maybe 5 or 10 people per time. You see this crowd here is happening all over Hong Kong. And it's happening at all the retailers who had the iPhones. I mean, the flagship Apple stores will have a lot more people because they have more supply. But in the smaller phone carriers or electronic stores, they have some supply as well. You see this lineup is absolutely ridiculous. Now we look at this second video. These are bricks of cash. In Hong Kong, the max denomination is $1,000 per bill. As shown here, these are gold bills. And let me double check how much $1,000 is in the US. That's about 129 US dollars. So one of these bricks have 500 bills. So about 500K in Hong Kong dollars. And let's divide that into US dollars. And the exchange rate from Hong Kong dollars to US is 0.13. So 500K times 0.13, that's 65,000 US dollars per brick. And we'll go back to the video here. So each of these bricks are 65K. This person is loading the suitcase with all this cash. And when it's all filled up, that's at least $1 million US dollars per suitcase. And he does it every single day and maybe a couple runs a day. Just looking at these bills brings back a lot of memories. Let me tell you a little story here. Back 10 years ago, during the iPhone 4 and 5 phase, I was a part of this geographic arbitrage. Because the demand for iPhones here in Canada is nowhere near the demand in Asia, in Hong Kong and China. So I see an opportunity to load up my suitcases with the iPhones in exchange for all this cash. The premiums at a minimum is like 30% gains. And at the maximum, let's say if I get the phone in the first day, and I somehow arrive there in the second day, the prices could be double or more. So the markup is 100%. If I somehow could get 100 of these on launch day and fly over the second day, that's $100,000 in gains. And back then, they had no limits as to how many phones you can put in your suitcase. Right now, I believe you can only put like 1 or 2 lithium batteries in there. Back then, they can put it through a scanner, they see 100 phones, and they just let you through. There was no restrictions. Right now, you can't do that anymore. And because Apple is doing this global launches in so many countries, including China right now, there is not much premium to be had. So let's continue watching this video. We see all this cash, these $1,000 and $500 bills wrapped in these like elastic bands. So this mall in Kowloon, Hong Kong is known for people to grab iPhones from Apple stores and just bring it directly here to resell for that 20-30% gains. And sometimes there's so much demand that the mall just gets clogged up and we have to do the exchange somewhere else. There was one time I had to do it at McDonald's. I had like 50 iPhones in grocery bags. I'd go there and then the guy has stacks of these cash and we lay it on the table. I still remember the kids around us. They was just in awe. They're just eating the fries and like dipping the ketchup and then they're just watching us count cash and iPhones. This person had like a little fanny pack and all he had was stacks of $1,000. That time I counted maybe like 800 bills of $1,000, which is about 100K in US. And that's pretty much all the money I had on that table at McDonald's, just laid there. If anything happened there, I would have been left with $0 in assets. I mean, looking back, it's pretty dumb that I didn't call more friends and have like more protection and stuff like that. But you know, we do stupid things in life. We fly with suitcases of iPhones. I could have lost it there as well. I could have lost it at the customs. I could have lost it in the cab ride back home. I could have lost it at McDonald's. Anything could have happened. But no risk, no reward, right? Let's get back to the video. So it's quite normal. People just go in and then they count the cash, they do the exchange, and then that's the end of the deal. I just love how organized their suitcase is. These are good times. So what he's saying is that the best times, the phones actually tripled in value on the same day. And I've seen that as well. It seems like illegal activities, but we're just trading phones. We're not trading drugs, no marijuana, nothing. It's just phones for cash. And we have one more video to go through. So here, this is outside the mall there. Inside the mall, we have all these shops collecting iPhones, but outside the mall, we have people just standing on the side with like a folding chair and table, and they're doing business right outside. They're the same type of business where you just hand them the phone, they look at it, and give you a $10,000 cash. That is a transaction. And this is quite funny because there are websites that post market price of certain models of iPhones on the same day. And then if they go around and ask these people and it's below that price, they'll just keep walking for the next shop and keep asking until they get the price they wanted. In this crazy phase, there's no way you can lose money doing this. So all you have are upsides. It depends if it's 100% up, 50%, 30%, 20%, or even 10%. But there's no way you can lose money. So that's why you see people lining up everywhere. It's free money pretty much. And then we look at these guys. They have bags of iPhone just moving in and out all day long. And at nighttime, they find a way to ship it to China. Everyone in these little bags, in these like Apple bags, they don't intend to use it. They just want to resell and get the $1,000. So right here, it shows that even before the shops open, we have zigzags all the way outside the mall. Because sometimes the prices are highest in the morning. And that's because the shops have a quota to collect. Let's say if the demand from China is 5,000 units for that day, and they meet that $5,000, after that, they wouldn't pay as much. They might not even collect it to say, okay, that's enough. I'm managing my risk and the demand was 5,000, we have 5,000, snap it, we're done. We'll play again tomorrow. Because you never know when the game ends. So this is a general trend. The first day, that's the maximum markups. It could be 3 times. And second day is already maybe 1 times, like 100%. And third day could be 50. And fourth day, it could jump up again. Like, you can never predict the price of the next day. So people just kind of get rid of it in the same day. Or some people hold on for a couple of days, maybe over a long weekend, or maybe over like a China holiday, and they can hope to get a little bit more. It's so fun, this game. They have all these bricks of iPhone just laid on the sidewalk. Right here, including the box, is already 50 grand. And they're just there in shorts and sneakers, doing business. It's normal there. Right here, it says that they're collecting the iPhone 6 for 9XXX. So you have to go there and ask him in person, how much is this? What are these XXX? Is it $9,000 flat or is it $9,900? Because that's like $130 difference in US, so they shop around for the max profits. So every shop has all these money counters. And then when you go inside, every shop just shuffling money. It's a scene that you can't see anywhere around the world. I'm so glad I get to partake in these activities. You can't go back in time and relive it. This guy, I sold iPhones to him. He's on the 2nd floor, right around the corner. He's like the most well-known guy there. He swears all day long, counts cash and iPhones. That's all you see him doing. Swearing, counting cash and iPhones. That's it. I never see him eat. I mean, I've seen him smoke, but I never see him eat. He's so busy that he doesn't have time to eat. And then this guy, he looks pretty random, but he could be a doctor taking like half day off to do this activity to gain another like 2,000 Hong Kong dollars. So that was the craze back then. Anyone and everyone is doing it. I don't know if any of you remember, back then during the launch event, you get to go in and high five all of these Apple associates. Right now with COVID and everything, we just high five ourselves. Yeah. So that sums it up for my free iPhone case study. What do you think? Like, will you apply any of these strategies that I listed? I mean, the 5th one there is not available anymore, but the first 4 will always be available. Where we have number 1, dollar cost average down for the capital appreciation. And number 2, selling put options when things are dropping like a rock. And number 3 is when the stocks are hyping up, breaking new highs, and you're saying that you're willing to let go of your shares at a higher price. And number 4, paying your products through dividends. And since Apple is only 0.7% yield, it doesn't give you very much except for a free charger. And also, let me know what model and color you got. I got the Pacific Blue, and so far I love it. And this kumquat colored case is pretty awesome in my opinion. Thanks for watching. Drop a like and subscribe in the video if you found any value. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.